Welcome to Bullish and Beyond. It's Beery the Bull. I'm your AI co-host. Join myself, Brian the MacMan, and jtknowsthings while we dive deep into the world of stocks, crypto, and how to live a bullish life. It's time to get bullish, and there's no better place to start than right here. Let's dive in.
Hey everyone, it's Brian the MacMan back with you all talking about everything bullish here on Bullish and Beyond. And yes, I'm still bullish long term, but wow, is the market and crypto taking a massive hit as of recently. A lot of the big names that I love are a little bit more risky than the average stock, and those have been crushed most recently. I think a lot of what is going on is we're seeing a lot of talk about the tariffs, which are starting next week in Canada and Mexico, and also just a lot of market uncertainty with everything going on right now in Russia and China and the Ukraine and stuff like that. So hopefully we get some clarity here in the near future, and clarity helps out stock prices because people know what's going to happen. So, I mean, in this uncertain environment, it's hard to know where to put your money. So you don't always have to be investing. You can just sit with what you have, wait on the sidelines, and be ready to make the next investments. But speaking of investing, I did talk a few episodes ago about how I would start a small portfolio and be able to share my investments I'm doing there with everyone. So I did start it about 2 weeks ago. Unfortunately, the timing was not that ideal for the stocks that I picked. I put $10,000 to work, and at the time, Meta or Facebook had been going up for 20 days straight. I'm very bullish on Meta stock. I think they're going to be crushing it on consumer AI in the future. They have a lot of great models out there and a lot of smart, talented people. So I did put a bunch of money to work in Meta. Also, I put money in Palantir. They are the AI data analytics play, and they're very focused on government and also techie businesses out there. And even though government says they're actually going to decrease spending in the defense, I think they're going to have more money going to companies like Palantir because they're using analytics to make smarter and better decisions. So this is a reason to spend money in this space. So let me show you what happened here. I put $10,000 in 2 weeks ago, and only $8,000 now, $7,900. So it's taken a 21% dip, but staying strong. I still like the names that I'm in, and long term, I am confident they'll come back up. So trading is not what I recommend. I like investing in companies long term that have great potential. So that's why I picked those two stocks. So other things happening in the market, there's been a lot of talk about quantum in the last couple of weeks. Microsoft launched, their own AI quantum chip, and it went crazy. And that was back on February 19th. And, the quantum stocks were popping. But since then, they're tanking. Rigetti, INQ, a lot of these names out there that are being heavily followed, heavily traded, they're down significantly in the last week. And frankly, so is pretty much everything. NVIDIA reported earnings yesterday, and even though they had strong numbers, they beat by about 6%. It wasn't enough for the street. Their guidance was solid. Everything was solid. The stock started off today actually up, but as of this episode recording, it's down about 6% on the day. And along with it, a lot of the other names. I mean, tech in general is just getting slammed right now. So what else is going on in tech? Well, we got some good talk about TSM possibly taking over the Intel factories. Intel got a huge pop the other day when that news came out. And Intel is really struggling with its foundry business. So a company like TSM could really come in, partner, might be a joint venture, might be a possible sale. I don't know what it's going to happen, but big potential for TSM to take over. And I love TSM. They are the best in chip making in the entire world. So it makes sense to bring in TSM on this. And I am sticking with my picks on TSM, very bullish there. Another thing I wanted to talk about was how much NVIDIA affects the rest of the market. So not only does the AI stocks kind of play off what's happening with NVIDIA day to day, but their ventures that they invest in as part of NVIDIA Ventures has a massive swing to the market. For example, they announced that they were investing in a company called WeRide, and that is a ride-sharing company. And that stock went up 50% the day the news that came out. On the opposite end, they announced two stocks that they sold off. They got rid of SoundCloud and Serve Robotics, and these were very heavily followed AI stocks. SoundCloud and Serve Robotics tanked, absolutely tanked that day, and they sold out all their investments. So apparently, people think that if Nvidia doesn't have confidence in them, why should we? And that's a great point. Also, they decreased their position in ARM, which designs a lot of chips. They even help work with Apple. And why that is still a great company in my opinion. The PE is super high. They just lowered their investment on there, so that stock took a hit, but it wasn't as drastic. It was only about 5%. Some other things that are really cool happening in the tech world is that Meta hired a new chief to sell their Meta glasses. And I'm bullish on the glasses. I think that we can get so much data, through our eyes. That's the main way we perceive things. So if we can augment our reality with glasses, I think that's going to give us so much more data at our finger eye tips. So that's super cool. They hired the CEO of the Real. And on another note, Apple is doing a lot of R&D in this type of product, but apparently they canceled their Mac connected glasses. I think there's more to it. I think they're working on non-connected glasses. So they just scrap the connected ones and they're going to pivot to focus on the non-connected glasses in the future, because who wants to have them connected? I have a Vision Pro. It's absolutely incredible. The visuals are stunning. It's so immersive. When you do the immersive experiences, it feels like you're right there. But you have to be connected to a battery at all times. So it's not really ideal for walking around, and it's heavy. So in the future, if we get these lighter glasses, not connected, everything's built in, that is where we're going to really see a game-changing product. Another thing I came across I thought was really cool, I wanted to share, was an ETF by a company that it gives you exposure to the crypto industry. So our co-host JT is unfortunately not on today. He is a little bit under the weather. So this is a cool way to get exposure to crypto for people that only want to invest inside of a normal, investment brokerage account. Because you can't just go on and buy all these tokens on your standard brokerage account typically, unless you're using a company like Robinhood. So this ETF, it's called DApp, DAPP, and it has exposure to MicroStrategy, Coinbase, and some Bitcoin miners out there like Mara, Riot. Unfortunately, though, it's down 22% in the last week. Crypto has been getting slammed. Bitcoin was down at 85,000. So taking a massive hit kind of across the board there. Another company I wanted to talk about was Hims, and they do health and wellness, mostly for men. And the stock was going nuts ever since the Super Bowl, literally just on a upward track. But more recently, they got crushed. They were selling a product that was on a special list that they could make, and apparently that product fell off the list. And now it's not in short supply. They can't make it anymore. Maybe it'll be in short supply in the future, and that'll rebound. But for now, the earnings did not impress, and unfortunately, the stock has plummeted. But that is a company to watch. I think health and wellness is going to be super huge. And we already dove into some AI wellness type stocks previously, and we'll keep tracking those. I'm not sure it's the right time to pull the trigger yet, but just keeping an eye on it. Another company we've talked about before is Super Micro, and they've been on a wild ride this last year. I mean, up and down constantly. The most recent up came just yesterday when they got their submission in just in time to maintain their NASDAQ exchange listing. However, today it's tanking again. So these stocks up and down across the board, and just in general, it's that market uncertainty, and especially these riskier stocks, there's going to be a lot of volatility. So keep your head on straight during the volatility. I'm not selling stocks when they're down. That's the worst time to sell. Stick with your investments, maintain the right ones. It's not that you can't rotate out. If you are in a bad stock and you see it, you need to get out of it at some point. You don't need to write them down to zero. That's not the goal here. But if you have the thesis still that the stock is going to do well, stick with it, let the ups and downs happen, and ride it out. One example personally for me was Rocket Lab, which has also done a lot recently. But, I bought it back at $4 and it, did this, nothing for the longest time. And then it went, almost 10x. So you have to maintain your conviction when you know you're right. Stick with your plays. Stay in the game. That is the name of the game. You got to stay in it. And I'm always bullish. I'm going to help find those bullish areas in the market. Right, that this week is not the best time. So short term, there's a lot of risk out there, a lot of uncertainty. Long term, maintain your bullishness. Tune back into Bullish and Beyond next week for more amazing bullish insights. Have a great time, everyone. Cheers.
Bulls. That's a wrap on today's episode of Bullish and Beyond. Remember, the market never sleeps and neither should your ambitions. Whether it's stocks, crypto, or just leveling up in life, stay focused, stay bullish, and keep charging forward. Keep your energy high and your mindset bullish. This is Beery the Bull, your AI co-host, Brian the Macman, and JT Knows Things signing off. All content published by Bullish and Beyond, LLC reflects personal opinions only and is provided for informational purposes. Please conduct your own research and discuss with your accountant and/or financial advisor before making any financial decisions. The information presented should not be taken as financial advice. We are not financial advisors. Nothing you hear, see, or read in our content should be considered as any form of financial, investment, or legal advice, or a solicitation to buy or sell any assets, or to make any financial decisions.